You know, Heather, because you programmed this entire month, and before we started recording, we were talking about a true piece of Americana, an Insane Clown Posse. I was a little disappointed that Big Money Hustlers was not a pick.
Plan B, brother. That was on my plan B.
Big Money Hustlers. What's the other one? Big Money Rustlers?
We're going to save that for... you know what we should do? If one of your other themes falls through for 2024, you know what to do.
ICP movies?
Heck yeah.
Finally get around to watching all of the 2 movies that they have.
It'll be a dangerous duo.
Right? God.
Serial clown madness.
Well, speaking of dangerous duos, on this episode of the Kulturecast, I am still your host, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of many. I'm joined by my good friend all the way from MondoHeather.com, along with Noise Junkies and other things that are totally worth your time. Your friend and mine, she programmed this entire month, Heather Drain.
Happy Heather days. Oh, I hate myself. It sounded like a good
Drain Semper. Heather Drain month. There you go.
The December of Drain.
Yeah. And we're here. We're standing on the precipice of Heather Drain December, folks.
You're welcome. This is the best holiday gift I think one could receive. Because you know what? Even if somebody doesn't love all of my picks, you will not be bored.
It's true. It's true. We were talking again before turning on the recorder about turning, going and switching it on, putting a quarter in. We were talking about a couple years ago, I want to say 2019, maybe 2020, 2021. We did softcore porn month.
It was sexploitation.
Sexploitation, is that what okay, I couldn't remember. This is my own show and I can't remember. Is that correct?
They're the same thing, but when I think softcore porn, I think of, this is probably more endemic of the era of cable I grew up watching, but I tend to think of either like erotic thrillers, like with Shannon Tweed, like Bedroom Eyes, that thing, or I think of like European erotica, like Emmanuel, things like that. Sexploitation is more like a grindhouse kind of, like Michael Finland, Flesh Trilogy,
Granny Good.
House on Bear Mountain, BRE.
Can you imagine if we had a porn parody title for that one? It would just been House on Bareback Mountain.
Oh, or House on Bear Mountain, BEAR. And it's all like really cute, chubby, hairy guys making love to each other.
Sensually.
Yeah, I think it'd be very romantic because it's like, and I think that's the thing. People, I think the bears need to take that back. I'm seeing too many cubs that are like chiseled. It's like, you're not a cub.
You're an otter. Oh my. Well, we're not talking about anything queer on this episode, but I don't think so. But maybe I misinterpreted the movie. On this episode of the Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about 1967's Placer Sangriento, otherwise known as Beast of Flesh.
Yes, Chris, I loved how you said the original title because I feel like my Southern accent comes out more when I try to do foreign words. Placer de Sangriento. Hey, was that?
It sounds Southern. It don't sound. You don't sound too Southern. It starts Donde Estes. Where are you at, Estes?
Yes. Myrtle, you just ordered the platter number 5. You didn't the title of the film?
Yeah, it's the Southern accent, folks. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. In all seriousness, this film from Emilio Vieyra, who also directed, actually pretty prolific director from Argentina. He's probably best known in the States for directing The Curious Dr. Holmes.
With 2 P's.
Nobody can save us, but Chris and I literally held up our like a peace sign at the same time. But this film is it okay if I go into how I discovered
it? Go for it. Yeah, please. By all means. I was going to ask you, beat me to it. Go right ahead.
Well, I years ago, Something Weird Video, which everyone hopefully listening knows and loves, and if you don't, welcome to the world of Something Weird Video. They had released a double feature of this with Night of the Bloody Apes. And it was part of a Beasts and, I want to say it's like Beasts and Babes box set that I got. And Night of the Bloody Apes definitely has more of a reputation, and it's a markedly different film. And those 2 films actually did play grindhouses and drive-ins for real as a double bill in theaters back in the day, back in like early 70s. And Night of the Bloody Apes is a Mexican horror film that incorporates, it's actually a lot of fun, but it is nutsoid. It incorporates actual footage of open heart surgery and organ transplants, along with you have a subplot about a luchadora, which is amazing. And there's like a beast man and a father eventually trying to save his son, and women are getting murdered and raped, and it's very sleazy and bloody and completely just off the chain. Like everything you probably think of with grindhouse films as far as like nudity and violence, Night of the Bloody Apes fits it. And but I was like, what is the second feature, Feast of Flesh? And it is 100% different. And I almost feel like maybe it's kind of lived in the shadows because of that, because it's such a, after watching something like Night of the Bloody Apes, it just doesn't make sense as a pairing. Like the two don't really have anything in common other than the fact that they originally both probably were recorded in Spanish. Feast of Flesh, when I first saw it, I was touched by how like beautiful the black and white cinematography is, and this sense of sort of eeriness and like it has a pull over it. There's like a weird melancholia that I feel like permeates the whole film. And then I'd never seen anything like it. Now I haven't seen anything quite like it. I find it to be such a unique little treasure of a horror movie. And so when you let me program, I was like, oh, I can't wait. It's a film I try to share with people. And I don't really get to do. I've never talked about it on a podcast before. But I was like, ooh, I wonder what Chris will say. Cause I always love obviously I always love hearing your thoughts and how stuff hits you.
I think so. A couple things, obviously. I really enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it for the reasons that I think you probably wanted me to enjoy it. But I also enjoyed it for just kind of the low budgetness of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the low budgetness of it all. Like you, Heather Drain, I will heap some praise on you. You definitely push me to watch movies that I would not watch of a certain variety. And that variety is, I mean, I watched movies like Remote and Prehysteria, but I never saw Subspecies. Cause again, those kinds of movies, like for me, like, it's not that I have any issue with low budget, but like for me, like I've never had someone to be like, these are the low budget things you should be checking out. And the low budget indie, however you want to perceive it, like that, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain subsection of film that like I am more of a blind spot than others. And you and our esteemed friend, Mr. Mike White, seem to push me to be a better holistically film, I wouldn't say critic because I don't like that term.
No, we're not. I don't consider.
Oh, like I don't know, film
writer, a film writer, a film a film connoisseur, a film
podcaster. I mean, a film podcaster. Like that's what it is, and that's what we are. And like it's its own thing because we get to speak a little bit longer about movies than someone might in a review. I guess depending on who's writing it, if someone wants to go really, really go for it, maybe it is an hour-long thing you're reading, but. I mean, most film reviews that you're going to read are going to be like, so this is an extended medium to talk about film. And you and Mike always push me to watch things that I wouldn't watch otherwise, which I appreciate. And I'm not saying someone who picks something else isn't, but it's things that would never have come across my radar otherwise. And I appreciate that because that for me is something that I enjoy. I never say no because for me, like to say no is to shut an opportunity, to shut a door. And in my life, saying yes has gotten me further than saying no has. And in certain respects, I mean, again, let's not go all the way here. But so I just wanted to heap a little bit of praise on you because I enjoyed this movie for what it is and the reasons you probably wanted me to enjoy it and similar reasons why you enjoy it. But I also enjoyed it because it's the kind of thing that I would not have watched otherwise, but you brought it here and now I've seen it. I'm like, yeah, this is like fucking bizarre and weird and fun. And that mask is way creepier than it has any right to be. I mean, it's probably the gloves for me. Like the mask is creepy, but the gloves are really like that. Like it's a little like the gloves are disgusting in a way that just looks like someone glued pubes onto a glove. And like I know what they're going. It's like it's disturbing and it's upsetting and it's unsettling. It's all of those things all at once. This was fun. This was a fun movie. I definitely will say like what it is so weird. That, like you said, like you've never seen anything like it. And like, yeah, I get that. Cause like I haven't either. It's like, it's such a weird concept. So the concept, best I can tell, is guy is giving women heroin, and then the music that he plays makes them his zombie slaves.
It's a hypnotic. It's sort of like he's combining sort of hypnotizing and it sort of, I mean, even though the women seem willing, I mean, obviously if you're having to hypnotize and drug people to have sex with you, that's not consensual.
Right. But it's not like it's not explicit. Like, I mean, we see
very tame.
Yeah,
like,
we see it, but we don't. Like, and actually, one of my favorite things about this movie, is going to sound really crass, but the amount of like breast fake outs there are in this movie, like the creativity with which they hide the nudity. Because like there's no nudity in this movie, but they get closer than I think I've ever seen another movie get without explicitly showing. Because there's like a lot of weird creativity in this movie that they use to get around like showing bare-breasted women. I mean, that's the amount of nudity. I guess is there bare?
There's a little bit of nudity, but you have to. Now I'm going to sound even more.
Gotta really pause in to look.
And now you can see it, but it is very subtle, and and kind of most disturbingly, the most clear shot you get of at least a partially nude breast is the first body that you see in the opening, and which is a really great grisly looking makeup effect too, with the syringe jutting out, and just and that's the thing, like the cinematography in this is so gorgeous. Like this is I've often said, because I kind of hate it when I see newer filmmakers try and do something black and white, but nothing has that contrast to it, because they don't understand, like, to do black and white successfully, it has to be lit different. You have to do things differently than you would for color. And you can't just put a black and white filter on it.
No, that doesn't work at all. Like
that was my problem with, like, I remember, if somebody at work showed me at my day job the trailer for that Werewolf by Night.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
And I'm
you have all people mentioning an MCU thing, but I was like, I wonder if you're going to mention Werewolf at Night, because it's like the only thing recent.
And it didn't look like my thing, to be honest. But he showed it to me because it was retro,
right, sure.
But the black and white to me looked kind of like fake in the font. Yeah, it just pseudo.
Well, of course. I mean, it's like it's cultivated nostalgia, like, or cultivated retro.
But without actually studying it.
Right.
Like, I think that's the difference between that and, say, something like if you watch, like the Hudsucker Proxy, like, that's a film where you could tell, like, when the Coen brothers were making that and writing it, they were loving the 1930s screwball comedies and studied the whole patois. And patois, I love saying that word, patois, but like the snappy patter of that dialogue. But the black and white here is just so black and white when done right is so, to me, just as rich and as beautiful as color. And like the blacks here, like the black sky at night, but all the night scenes look so inky and so just all, the beach side seems so lonely. And it just adds to this whole ambiance of just like there's this killer on the loose that is just leaving this trail. And you have these young people that are having a good time, but there seems to be almost like this sort of like, if we live or die, like nobody seems deeply affected by the deaths. And it's
like the club scene, right? Like,
yeah, but it's almost sort of like that sense of like, and this is a real thing where, you hear about, where like youth cultures in countries that are very oppressed or that have like not the highest life expectancy. Sometimes the youth culture will be extra like daredevil. Right. And do crazy shit, and not because they're, necessarily inherently reckless, but it's almost like whether consciously or subconsciously, you realize life isn't valued.
Right.
And when you think about the fact that this is Argentina in 1967, where a dictator is in power, and of course I'm going to blank on his name, but the dictator that in question that was in power at that time in Argentina, purposely was trying to model his reign off of Franco.
Right.
I'm not talking about Jeff's. I'm not talking about Jeff's Franco. I mean, so, that's the, you're under a dictatorship and shit's going to get, I won't get into the weeds here because honestly, I need to study more on Argentinian history and I don't want to sound like a dumbass, but you don't have to, I think, study too much to realize like every, certain films, are going to reflect all films reflect the time period that they're in. And, and that is especially true, I think, for, for lower budget film. Which is why I think I love, so many of the best films kind of tend to be in it, because there's more of an authenticity. But this film is so stylish. I mean, it doesn't, to me, it never looks low budget and of course, I don't think that's a bad thing. I've gotten into shot on video stuff recently. I mean, if you got heart, you got vision, you know how to
see what I mean, Heather? That's what I'm talking about. Like, you bring that energy to these kinds of things that like even I struggle with sometimes. Cause like, I don't know, like, again, like when I think about what I expect when you program things or the energy that you bring, like I appreciate the energy that you bring because you really push into things that like, I would never have watched. And like on video, like Jesus, well, you're going for it. Like you're bringing light to things that need more love, because like how many fucking people are talking about all the mainstream shit all the time? Plenty of people. That's why it's mainstream.
Oh, thank you. No, and I meant to mention earlier, that means so much to me for you to say that, because that's something that is, and I think has always been really important to me, whether, especially in my writing, like in my nonfiction writing, but as well as like, The Few, which you're giving me a chance to talk about, and program this month is especially exciting. But that's something I love that you do too, because you've turned me on to so many films. I mean, with like the Bollywood Cinema Club.
Amir Khan.
Oh my God.
Amitabh.
Oh.
I will take full credit for that 100%. Like, I'll be like, hell yeah. Like, fuck yeah. But that's the same thing. Like, you feel proud about it because it's like, when not only did I introduce you to it, but like you like it too. Like,
oh, I love it. Are you kidding? Oh my God. But you're right. That's what this is about and what we do. And that's so fun because to me, it's, especially for the listeners, it's like, and that's something you and I both do, is that everybody listening, you guys you're with us on this. We're not going to talk to you. We're not going to talk at you. We're talking with you. You are a part of this journey with us. And it's always a pleasure to do that. And especially to talk about films like Feast of Flesh. And I think it's like a little noir gem with a almost not slasher, but I mean, it's obviously there's a killer kind of on the loose, and you have this weird sort of like twisted sexuality that's kind of under the surface. Like, cause like you said, the film, if it would barely get a PG-13.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's
tame.
I mean, there were more explicit PG films in the 70s than this one.
Airplane has a pair of breasts just jiggling on the center of the screen. But it's like the go-to for me. But like all PG ratings are not created equal.
That is the truth. 70s PGs were a different beast.
Hell yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah, this movie is like PG, really. Like,
yeah. Oh, 70s PGs. It'd almost be G.
Yeah. So I have a question. So this movie was like, it seems to only be referred to as Feast of Flesh in that the Something Weird video release, and when it was distributed by Gerund Films. So its other title is The Deadly Organ.
Yes, which I love. I love. No,
I mean, for a number of reasons, I'm sure.
Feast of Flesh, honestly, is not the best title, and it's not a direct translation.
Right.
So trying to think, Placer de Sangriento, that's something blood. Yeah. But no, Feast of Flesh makes it sound like a cannibal movie, realistically. Like,
that's what I was expecting. Do you want me to be honest with you? I was like, that's what this is, right? Like, oh.
No, it's not a great title, but compared to The Deadly Organ, it's a masterpiece, because The Deadly Organ makes it sound like women are getting killed by a giant wang or something. Like, it sounds...
You said it, not me.
and it's, you want to talk about misleading? Which I normally kind of love misleading hucksterism with film, because I've gone off, I think I went off in our sexploitation month about the whole Grindhouse, like, Hatter rating, where like, which is basically like what, theater owners would rate a film on how successful of how many times guys were spanking it into their hats. So the film was, but this is a true thing. Like, it's in the book Grindhouse, which is an amazing book. But like a Three Hatters, like box office bonanza, like but then like Two Hatters, okay, we're still doing good. One Hatter, not great. The No Hatter is like, not only are the hats not being used, but you have disgruntled customers because these are men hoping for, some Jolly Roger
titillation
of the five-handed writing, and they're just disappointed. Those tend to be my favorites, though. It's like my Antonin Artaud theater of cruelty makes sense of humor here, but so it's where the Feast of Flesh was promoted like that when it's saucy, but it's very, and even especially by 60, because by 67, in America, you're getting in roughy areas where the boundaries definitely getting pushed a lot more. Of course, most of it's more in a rapey kind of way, because it's more like, it's America. It was easier to kind of show something sexual in a pulp novel,
right,
violent way than it is to have just, beautiful, unfettered or eros. But that's kind of, so many of these films from overseas, especially, were treated like that. A lot of times they would just be titled and, retitled and, and that's actually kind of the same overseas. The most infamous example is and this was in the 70s, Massacre at Central High, the Renee Daalder film, which is a brilliant art house drama that was like a drive-in film. But you watch it, it's definitely a lot more than meets the eye. But when it was released in Italy, the Italian distributors retitled it Sexy Jeans, and they inserted badly inserted hardcore footage that is clearly not anybody in the. And if you've seen Massacre at Central High, if ever a film did not warrant sexy jeans or sexual explicitness, it is that movie. It's absurd, but fascinating. But yeah, with Feast of Flesh, it's no wonder that maybe it never really has had the chance to get full sea legs. Because it's really, it's one, I don't know if maybe it's because the fact that it's kind of been more of this grindhouse kind of arena, but it's not sleazy. It's not gory. It's not exploitation. It's not sexploitation. It's just a little noir art house horror film under the guise.
Yeah.
It's like in grindhouse clothing, but it's not that. But that's the thing. There are a lot of films like that kind of, because of budgetary reasons or honestly sex sells too. Like you get, a lot of art house directors, their early stuff would be retitled things and marketed in a way to where it made it seem like it was very salacious. Like Ingmar Bergman's Filmonica in 1953, when it came over here, it was like, got this ooh la la presentation. That played grindhouse. So it's kind of fascinating in America just how there were some films that were legit art house that are considered art house now that were played like they were exploitation.
Well, and that's the thing that's kind of hard with this movie is that it is not because I looked at the promotional material for it, and it's not even what it's being promoted as. Like you said, it's just a noir movie.
Yeah.
Right. It's just it's not even I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just a noir movie. And if it had been, I don't know, but because it's got a guy in a mask, I guess slasher, I don't know, or horror movie, is it a slag again? It kind of lives within some of those slasher tropes.
It's actually, God, I know this is overused now, but yeah, it's honestly, it's like a proto giallo because you have a gloved killer.
Yeah.
It's a murder mystery, and all giallos not all of them, but typically kind of work like a murder mystery. It's sort of like Agatha Christie on strong psychedelics and speed, which is a beautiful thing. And I fully endorse that creatively.
Right.
So and that's the thing, but it's very early in this era because you didn't really have that. Speaking of I mentioned the Flesh trilogy earlier with Michael Finlay, who's one of my favorite directors ever. And those films are now out on Blu-ray via Vinegar Syndrome.
Right.
And I'm on the commentary tracks, plug. But no, but with Michael's stuff, those films have a noir quality too. They're very much American. He's very much an auteur, but those were totally proto slashers to the point where you have a serial slasher. You have a series of horror films with the same villain, which was, not counting old movie serials or say Fritz Lang's Dr. Mabuse, which that isn't really slasher. But as far as serial villains, you don't really see. And so Feast of Flesh is kind of an interesting outlier in a similar way, I think, because it is, it's not really, it's obviously not, it's not Italian. It's not a proper giallo. It's not really a slasher, but it is a horror movie and it is a murder mystery. But what's more horrific than a murderer who's very prolific?
Right. Well, I mean, again, he's utilizing drugs to put people into a suggestive state and then murdering them. I mean, I think my issue is like, I'm still kind of confused as to what was really going on. Because again, I think so much is left up to us, which is okay. Like, again, like so much of this doesn't have to be explicit. And I think it benefits from not being explicit. But I mean, our minds fill in the gaps more in this movie, right? Like, that's what I felt like. Like, this movie doesn't, the successes of this movie aren't necessarily all on screen. It's more just where it sets you as an audience member.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's such a great point. No, there are points in the film where the film itself kind of makes you feel a little bit like you're one of the women that's being hypnotized by that beautiful piece of music. Like, I love the music in this film, and it's very effectively eerie and kind of beautiful and very, it's a very like exotica, like anybody that's into like Martin Denny or Les Baxter. But less tropical and more just sort of
sinister.
Like a ghost is on the recording. Like, literally, it's got some kind of like etherealness about it that I love. And just this whole sort of thing of having this masked killer with this guy with a creepy mask and, those gloves. And yet these women are coming to him. Like, they're entranced with him. Like, he is the ultimate, like, I think one girl, when she's already under a spell, shouts out like he's a real man, and she freaks out thinking that somebody could apprehend him, and it's so strange, the fact that like we have different sort of potential killers presented throughout the whole film, red herrings galore, as any proper murder mystery will have, but there's a shot in this with the masked man that I love so much, and it's like after one girl gets away, like our main girl, he punches the already cracked mirror with his fist while looking at himself. And it always like, that's something that you see sometimes in film. And it's kind of an image I always love, because it's like, how we react to our own image and our reflection can be so telling. That can kind of, that could reflect what's going on internally very easily. And it's like, yeah, he's frustrated that she got away, but it's also the fact that he's looking at himself, and this film already has this like kind of not slow quality, but thoughtful. It's a very thoughtful movie. It just sticks with me. And it's, and yeah, you're kind of left wondering about the psychology of it. And yeah, because the film doesn't tell you a whole lot. And part of that, I can't help but wonder though, is like, is this the full cut? Which is something you always have to wonder with foreign films, I especially of this era, unfortunately. And some of the dubbing is not, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's doable. Dubbing
was fun, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was it was fun. Like, I think the dubbing was I enjoyed the dubbing because like the voices they got are very, very overpronounce everything. And it's like,
and the vernacular, like, oh, that's rarely like,
yeah, it's very like, not forced, but it's like, hello, my fellow kids. Like, I'm sure this sounded better pre-translation because it's being translated from a language that is a romantic language, which tends to have words and phrases that don't have direct English translations. So, I'm sure, like you said, like, is this the proper cut of the movie, or is there, some of this just literally being lost in the translation from from Spanish to English? Like, it's probably all of the above. Because it does feel, it's an hour and 18 minutes long, which is a really arbitrary amount of time, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like an hour and 18 minutes, like that would not be considered a full length feature here in the States.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but it was then, technically.
It was then, right? But like, I think we would say like an hour and 20 is pushing it, but most things are like an hour.
Yeah. I think maybe more films should go back to being this short, because I think, not everything, every story merits its own pattern, its own rhythm, its own approach. But sometimes you'll see films and you're like, that could have been proved, and when a film leaves you wondering in a way that's pleasant, like this one does, because I think sometimes you'll watch something and you'll be like, man, you could have, no pun intended, you could have fleshed this. You could have, and I actually watched a film that was like a short recently that left me frustrated because I was like, man, there's a lot of holes. This film, to me, it leaves you wondering in a way that is a little more fun and sort of, oh God, this is a cheesy word to use, but almost enchanting because you kind of, you're like, wow, like, what did I just see? And, what is the story with some of these characters? Like, you're given enough to know, so it doesn't feel like the film's full of holes or anything, but you're given just enough for, and the rest is kind of like up to you. And who knows? I mean, there's not really, I almost don't want, as much as I'm anti, like, oh, spoilers, like, I almost hate spoiling this one for some reason, which is so rare for me. Do we want to?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if spoiling it benefits anybody. And like, you can find this on YouTube.
Yeah, it's easy to find, which is good because honestly, that DVD is out of print, and because Night of the Bloody Apes has got a re-release on Blu-ray through a different company now. And I can't remember which one, but I need to upgrade. But Beast of Flesh, to my knowledge, has it. And I really would love to see one of these. There's so many great boutique labels out, like Vinegar Syndrome or Synapse, Mono Macabro, Severin, so many, Cauldron, that I would love to see them pick this up. And even better, if we could find like a film print with the original language. I don't know. Right. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what film preservation looks like, and that culture is in Argentina.
1967 Argentinian film preservation is not a thing that you are eminently aware of.
Yeah, I'm.
Okay, what a shame.
I'm sorry. My reputation is ruined. But I would love that. This film deserves. I think it's such a little treasure. And when you watch something that you can, like, especially Chris, because you've watched a lot of movies, and over the years, especially since you podcasted, you've seen a lot of movies. You've seen more, and you definitely know more than the average bear, to say the least, to say the very, very least,
or the average otter, whatever you want.
I love. I see what you did there.
I see.
But I don't know what that was, but when you're able to watch, when you're somebody who has watched a lot of movies, and you, even in that state, you see something that truly is like, that feels fresh for you. How special is that? Feels like a gift, right?
Yeah,
like you really like, wow, like, thank you, Emilio Vieyra, for giving us something, that was so thoughtful and alive. And I've seen this movie multiple times since when I first watched it years ago, and it just still strikes me, so fresh. And I would love to, and I think more and more about the character of the masked man, and that amazing, like, beachside house that he's in, and just how he's always at night. And, and the fact that we have these little ruses, it could be this young, good looking guy. It could be this other guy that has anger issues with women and has a little bit of a sex past. It could be, I love a doctor who's mourning his dead wife, and it could be this other, like, we're given a good mix of, like, it could be somebody young and wild. It could be a very respectable older man. It could be this or that. And I love that. I love that it gives you some good food for thought. It doesn't throw any unnecessary twists. And I think sometimes that, a great twist is amazing, but there are sometimes, especially I think modern films, you'll see something where it's like there's so many twists that you're like, slow your roll, movie. Like,
pull it with the twist, movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like if it's inorganic to the whole film and it takes you out of the whole film, then something's not right. Like, that's the thing as a filmmaker, you're creating a world that needs to be copacetic. And I mean, if it's fucking crazy, then yeah, make it crazy, have fun with it, revel in it. But it's all gotta feel inherently part of that nature. And this, and that's the thing, this film, I feel like everything just feels right in it. And we do actually, you mentioned earlier, we do have a little bit of, it's never really expanded upon, but we do have a queer subtext because we have the character, blonde with the amazing stylish cut, who's in love with Baby, our lead lady. Not baby. That baby's a baby from House of a Thousand Corpses.
God.
Different baby. Oh, I that baby though. I know. This is where I get divided with a lot of people. I do love that movie, but and it's okay. A lot of people don't. It's not for everybody. That's cool.
It's really not.
It's cool. I get it. But this baby, Feast of Flesh baby. And the cool thing is like, the character, I mean, even though like, I don't think baby's ever going to actually like make an honest woman of her, baby's like, seems fine with the advances. Like it's not played as a joke. It's not played, as, oh, this is creepy or whatever. It just seems just kind of like, yeah, she's part of the friend group. And there are two men of that group that seem kind of coded gay.
A little bit. There's one guy that definitely feels like 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah. It's not explicit, but
it's as explicit as it could be in 1967.
Yeah.
Like Hermie the elf explicit. We get it. You're different and you don't want to be a dentist. We get it.
Same.
It's coded gay. Hermie the elf is like beyond coded gay.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. It's true though. And yeah,
I don't want to be an elf. I don't want to make toys. Okay, we get it.
Yeah,
that's received. I don't want to make toys either. But to your point, like it's the movie really doesn't. There are so many horror movies, especially as the 70s would turn into the 80s, that has this like weird morality of like sex will kill you, and like don't have fun, don't have sex, don't use drugs. Like the slashers of the 80s are weirdly Reaganistic in their disgust for the finer things in life, which is sex and drugs and rock and roll and, free love and being yourself. Like those movies, for whatever reason, like, again, just reflective of the times. This movie, nobody gets punished for any of these things. I mean, I guess you could make the statement that the women are being punished because he's entrapping them with heroin, but we never get the sense of why these women are going with this guy. Like it's never really made clear per se. So who or what or how he's plying them is not clear. So is it the drugs or what we don't know. So yeah. I like that the movie just leaves it there. Like maybe he's just really charming and then they get to his place and he puts the mask on as kind of a sex king. Because again, like roaming the beach with that mask on, who in their right mind is going to follow you? So like, again, like they leave so much of it open that I appreciate that, as opposed to being like, well, look at these characters having sex or using drugs. They're going to die because of it. Like I don't need that every time I watch a horror movie, especially a slasher.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing I love. One of the many things, obviously, about this film is, yeah, it's not a morally judgmental film in any sort of way. I mean, the Inspector character is kind of close and he's kind of a chode, but again, I don't know how much of that is translation too. But as far as like the kids and the film's tone as a whole, no. I mean, if the kids are kind of, sort of live today, don't worry about tomorrow, but you're living in an oppressive government, what choice do you have to some degree? Like what else, it's like, what else are you going to do? You're going to just, lay down and die, or are you going to just try and celebrate and just enjoy what you can? But as far as the girls know, and I love with horror, I love horror movies that don't spell out everything.
Same.
And I actually get annoyed when people, when especially like other like film people will start overutilizing, especially like with like, say, like George Romero, who's one of my favorite filmmakers. And Romero's maestro, utter game changer. But people like overnight, like about, especially like the zombie films. And it's like, what happened to magic? What happened to just suspension of disbelief? Like, why do you need everything spilled out? And also in real life, when do we ever have all the answers for anything in real life? Like, to me, it's like, art is a mirror.
Right.
Art is a mirror, and real life doesn't tell you everything. So why should a film tell you everything? Unless you're just you have no imagination. Like, and you're fucking boring. Like, I mean, obviously not you, dear listeners, but we all know people that are just, it's almost, and it just drives me crazy. I'm like, how, like, the beauty of film or literature is when somebody's telling a story, they're telling, again, it's the whole thing of speaking with you. Like, so it's respect. If somebody respects you, they're not going to tell you everything because they're going to assume A, you have intellectual curiosity. B, you're at least have a modicum of intelligence. And C, you're not boring, have some adventure in your soul.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know, like, I would rather watch something like this in this day and age than just rewatch. I mean, I've seen all the slashers that I care to see. And like, I would rather just see something that's just, it's kind of its own weird little thing that exists in its own space. And I mean, again, I think the thing that's really smart about this movie is it doesn't explain anything at all. We don't even really get the characters like reacting to the reveal at the end of the movie. They just kind of are there. It happens. And then that's that. Like it's so like emotionally curt in a way that is like, I would be curious to watch more Argentinian cinema to see if that's just like a cultural thing. If it's like there's this weird, because again, like it's not like the characters are emotionally detached, but at one point there's a woman on the beach being like assaulted and the guy is just run off very matter of factly. Do you know what I mean? Like he just runs off. The other guy doesn't chase after him. The other guy is taking care of the woman, not worrying about the guy. And that's like it's kind of a bizarre way to do it because like in American cinema, you would have like the guy chasing after the assailant and he just lets him leave. And he's more, it's like there's it's a different emotional reaction. And I enjoyed it because again, like it's very clearly made by people who are interpreting things that we could all interpret as like basic human reactions to things. They seem to be doing it in a little bit different way, which I appreciate. Again, international cinema, foreign cinema is always interesting just to see the cultural things that are different. I mean, again, watching enough of Indian cinema, you start to picking up on the Indian things. I mean, the usage of English, stuff like that. Like those things show up from time to time. But like, yeah, there's a weird emotional reservedness to this that, again, I wonder if it's just this movie and, Vieyra's take on things, or is it Argentinian like culture? Because again, probably know even less than you do about Argentina, other than, nobody cries for Argentina.
Oh God.
Right. I like Evita. I mean, we never had a chance to talk about it. Like, I like the musical.
Yeah.
Like not the movie, because Madonna is not a good actress. Shocking, well, I know.
Well, especially compared to Patti LuPone.
Right.
Like Patti LuPone's like a
power
firestorm. Yeah. Now I need to, and I want to learn more about both Argentinian culture and cinema. The other Argentinian film that's not Vieyra that I've seen is a film called Fuego, which also actually played kind of more the Great House circuit over here. Oh, it is a bit of a circus. And that star, Isabel Sarli, gorgeous. Like it's like Elizabeth Taylor and a Russ Meyer girl had a baby. Like so boom. And she, and you see the trailers for it and how it was promoted over here. And it's totally like, oh, she's a sexy, insatiable, wanton. You watch the movie's depressing because she is an nymphomaniac, but it's like mentally ill. It's almost like sort of the reality.
Lars von Trier presents Nymphomaniac.
Okay, it's not that depressed, but I mean...
Depressing?
I haven't seen his Nymphomaniac. I was thinking more Breaking the Waves, which is fair. Which is a lot. But it's fascinating. It's a really fascinating film. And again, another instance of a film giving you something very different than what you're going into expect. But again, I like that. And that's honestly, it's things like that got me very much into, when I was younger, into like researching like grindhouse cinema and sexploitation cinema and roughies, because it's, cause all of these little subgenres of cult film all have these little like sort of gems that nobody really talks about because they weren't presented in a respectable way. And I hate that fucking word, by the way. Respectable to me, I almost feel like doing that like old woman spitting, like if somebody mentions the name of a rival, just like, except sure. I would never spit in public because it's gross. But but that's the truth. I mean,
sure.
The art world is very classist and has been for a very long time.
Sexist and misogynist and all of it.
and that's the thing. You're dealing with you're typically dealing with genres of films that automatically they're low budget, and they're not like big Hollywood productions, so they're already kind of ghettoized, for lack of a better term, by these critics. And then on top of it, if it's sexy, even if it's not, because this film isn't sexy, but it's promoted as being sexy.
Right.
It's kind of same with Fuego. Like, Isabel Sarley is very sexy, but her character and she's great in it. You end up just feeling really bad for her. But because the way it's promoted and you have, but that's saying even with films where the women are true wontons, that's viewed as exploitative to women and not necessarily empowering. Like, oh, well, we get to see women having sexual agency, but that's offensive. But you could go watch a Hollywood film where what roles is a woman going to get? Mother, horror that's probably going to get killed, or crone. Right. And that's it. That's it. And it's utter bullshit. I've always found, to me, outre cinema to be infinitely more inspirational as not just as a female, but just as a person who's just, I think who feels like an outsider too.
I'm with you. Almost like, I don't know, like kind of reveling in it, like revel in being an outsider. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, own it. Like, that's the thing. Like,
outsider Heather Drain.
I know.
The Cinema Outsiders. Is that taken yet? Is that taken? That should be Cinematic Blind Spot. It. Yeah, right here, right now.
That's right. Nobody steal this idea or we will hunt you.
Right. We'll just cut this part out of the episode. Oh, no. Who edits these? Not me. It's the intern.
No, the intern's in my head.
I disassociate for half an hour when I edit these, and that's the intern.
Oh, do you wear a hat?
Yeah, for what? I wear many hats. Yeah, I wear many hats in this business.
You can be put on a pilgrim hat. This is my editing hat.
Oh, that's the coolest hat of all. I love oppressing people.
Oh my God. Well, I was thinking more like Richie Blackmore and Deep Purple. That was not so much like
pilgrims.
Yeah, not actual pilgrims, not literal pilgrims.
That's fair. That's fair. Man, pilgrims really haven't been represented in pop culture a whole lot, have they? You like that tangent? There you go. Eli Roth is bringing it back with Thanksgiving, a movie that I wanted to go see, but didn't want to go spend money to go to the theater to see, but still want to see it because it's a Thanksgiving horror movie.
You should bootleg it. That way Eli Roth doesn't get any money.
I don't want him to have a dime. He doesn't need my money.
I do fully encourage people to, support physical media, like art and artists that give you something different, like Feast of Flesh. Support those people. Support the real ones that love you enough to do something different, not the bros that are going to wipe their Swiffery ball sack tape all over media. And, God only knows how they treat if there's any diversity on that crew. That's another, I'll save that for later. But how
dare you bring left-leaning liberal ideas into this moderate podcast, Heather?
I know, right?
Yeah.
But because honestly, if people think there's sexism and homophobia for people in film world, as far as like podcasting and writing, it ain't nothing compared to being on the technical side of things.
Right. Yeah. You're just a woman. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Because apparently the penis is prehensile and can lift equipment. Oh, wait, it can't. It can't. Unless a man, but if there is a man that can work a camera with his dick, I do want to see that. And sir, if you could do that, fucking out of the way.
Heather, I hope to God nobody DMs you on Twitter. I can show you how to work camera.
Oh, God. Yeah, what have I done? Please don't send it to me. No, don't DM. No DMs.
I like that idea, though. This guy what's your talent? I can operate a camera. Okay. With my dick.
Like he's setting the ISO and everything. It's like, just white balance.
Filter.
He white balance with his wing.
He's checking the filter, making sure it's right.
Oh my God, that's
wax it against the camera real hard.
Wicked. Oh,
how else are you gonna make? I mean, if you gotta get the thing to go.
Yeah, actually, I don't recommend. You know what? If you can't do it, don't do that because the calluses. You're gonna hurt. You're gonna hurt your little soldier, guys.
I will say though, if someone is able to manipulate a camera with their cock, that's not going to be small. You said little soldier, and like if the
soldier,
yeah, like
the general,
the manipulation of the camera might be one of your many talents, including but not limited to holding apples with it. For fuck's sake.
But I'm sure I feel whenever I do things like this, I'm always like, I hope that the spirit of Emilio Vieyra, because he has moved on to the play. I hope I'm surely he realizes my heart is pure and I love this film and I'm trying to praise him in his film. But I also apparently am a trash goblin and have to talk about these things on podcasts.
I mean, Heather, that's why we're the cinematic outsiders.
That's right. How about you?
Taking it to them, boys.
Taking it to the streets.
Like that song? Take it to, it was like Chicago, right?
That's the dude.
Oh, is it Doobie Brothers?
You're not.
I do like Michael McDonald.
Oh, he's actually a Malamute. A Malamute?
A dog?
I couldn't.
I love. What's that? There's like one Doobie Brothers. Oh, what a fool! This ad brought to you by. Get it though. Here's how this makes sense, because this is where the big boys play. Look at the adjective play. We are the cinematic outsiders.
That's right.
Outsiders. The WCW.
Oh my God.
The outsiders. What was that they were doing, showing up with the baseball bat? Look at the adjective play. I have half the brain that you do. We're the cinematic outsiders.
Oh,
we're bringing you all of the cinematic gems that you could ever hope for and bizarre non sequitur tangents.
That's why we're
literally friends.
That's 100% true. But that's also why we rule, because, this ain't Obama's podcast. We're not academics. We're not going to give you some wanker, we're going to give you the truth, the heart, the teeth, babies, the piss and vinegar. It's all right here.
Yeah, I agree. And it's stuff like this. Like, that's, like I said, Heather, like you bring like a certain level of like, again, just like, I do my own fucking thing. Like, there are a few people in the world like you, and that is a good thing.
Oh, thank you. Well, and right back at you.
Likewise. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're not horn tutors, but apparently we are.
We're tutor horns.
Tutor horns. I will say, in back to Feast of Flesh for a moment. The thing I will say about like the movie itself, and like you mentioned, like this idea of it being like its own thing. I've gotta because now I keep thinking about it. Like, there's got to be another cut of this movie out there, right? Because so much of this feels so truncated.
Like, right. I mean, I still feel like everything we're saying is the truth. Like, it still feels inherently true of the film, but there are certain cuts that seem abrupt. And yes. And that's the thing, Emilio Vieyra is a very talented and very, like I said earlier, prolific filmmaker. This guy knew what he was doing. So, and this wasn't even his first film. And when you see abrupt cuts, that's the thing. If you see the films that you know have been kind of tampered with a little bit, you kind of get a good spidey sense of
right.
Like, wait a minute. Like,
an hour and 18 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Arbitrary.
Exactly. And it's weird too, because usually you're used to seeing things like nudity or sex being the stuff that's censored. But if this film was promoted as heavily ordered out, that was it.
Yeah.
So
it is a sexy movie though. Like, it's sexier than I think it maybe would have been if it had been made in the States.
Well, the thing I love about this, the sexuality in this film is it's very almost languid. Like, it seems very dreamy, but it feels very natural too. Like, it felt even like the weird hypnotic stuff with the monster, like the masked man, it feels, organic. Like, it doesn't feel overtly like, rip off comes the top and close up of boobs or anything.
Right,
like,
right.
It's not, this is not a film that plays out in, to quote Henry Chinaski, in obviousness.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned to not mention spoilers, but like, I would say like the reveal at the end, I think is, I don't know, like, I think it works, but I don't think, I think it's the obvious choice, but I think that's okay to speak to your, like, a lack of obviousness. But like, I think it's the obvious choice, but I think it works in terms of where the movie has kind of been going.
Yeah. Well, it also, it also, like, if you think about it, because I'll spoil just a little bit. This is so weird. I always am so anti this movie, just for some reasons, bring this out of me. But the killer is somebody who's a person of power. And we find out midway that one of the victims is somebody that had been teaching her. Right. And there's no age given, but if you think about implication, like how kind of dark and fucked up that is.
Right.
But it's fascinating. Like, it's really just kind of like, and that's the thing, this film gives you just enough little details so where if you stop and think about some of the implications and some of the personal details, you're just like, whoa, what is this universe? Like, what is this community? And that's the thing, because it seems like a pretty small community. I mean, the only actual real police presence we see is like the inspector that comes in by plane and then like sort of the main like lieutenant kind of sergeant, who I think it's hard to tell because IMDb is not very helpful with this. I think Emilio is the main like lieutenant. Like, I think that's him. The director is in that, but that please don't quote me on that. But that's it. We don't really see a lot of police presence. I think we might see one or two other guys at some point, but it's obviously a small town with this very amazingly swanky bar. Which, how great was that?
Socialite bullshit.
But that bar, like, I miss architecture. Like, I say that I wasn't even alive when architecture looked like this, but I miss it. I kind of like, there's something about like that mid-60s sort of, I don't know, just like lounge culture kind of look.
I'm with you. I mean, you like tiki bars and stuff like that. Like, that's all, and I'm with you. Like, I don't know, like, that's the other thing. Like, I might not be a huge fan of like early James Bond for some reasons, but other things I'm a huge fan of are just like that time and place and like the look of the wear and the dress. And like, this reminds me of that. Just like, I don't know, like, I'm not saying people don't have it now, but you used to be able, like, it used to be you would go out and you had to look it when you went out. Like, and that was the thing. Like, it was a big deal. And like, I'm not saying I miss it, but like, I kind of do, because this was the bar and it was set pretty fucking high. Like, in terms of like movies and stuff, like there was just a weird sense of unified style that isn't there now, that like, I'm with you. I resonate with like Art Deco and
oh my God,
loungy and like, and like tiki, like all of those kind of like 50s and 60s. Like I'm right there with.
Oh my God. It's perpetually enchanting. Like, it just always, and that music puts me in such a mood. Like, it's,
I'm a huge fan of Martin Denny. You mentioned it.
Oh,
like, I'm a huge fan. I have several vinyls.
Oh my God, same.
Yeah. Like, I'm a huge fan. Like, and that's the thing, like that, there were things that this movie definitely scratched, like itches that it scratched. And again, like the fact that it's an Argentinian movie is part of the charm for sure. Like, this time and place in this place of the world, especially like, because in the United States you would have had to have gone to more like locale specific places to get this style, like a Miami. But like with this, it's like, this is just it's everywhere, it's all encompassing. I'm like, I low-key love that.
Yeah.
And they're still like that. These places are still like that. They still have this architecture as well. Like, my folks have gone to Argentina and other countries in South America, and I've seen the pictures. Like, the architecture is still there, which is super crazy too. So yeah, I low-key love, I love these places in this time, like in the 60s and 70s and 50s for sure.
Yeah. No, one thing, and gosh, before I forget to mention it, that the dubbing does that I would bet dollars to donuts is not the original language, is that the dubbing, the inspector says San Mateo. And it's like, oh, honey. Like, I mean, I think there's literally a map of Argentina in one of the, and it's not clearly not in the States. And it makes me so sad. I mean, I get it, I get it for financial reasons. Like, okay, we're dubbing this and it's playing to American audiences, so we got to make it seem like it's in America, so they gel with it. But it's also like, that depresses me, because it's like, God,
to answer the question you didn't ask initially.
Yeah, like, are people just so babied where it's like, oh, I can't identify with it if they're not American? I don't think most Americans are that stupid. I do think some are. But I think the ones that would be that centrist aren't going to go out of their way to watch a movie like this anyways.
No. or find it on something weird video.
Yeah. Or even on YouTube. Like if you're looking it up on YouTube, you're already knowing, you already have a seed in you of like, ooh, this is cool. You know, like, yeah, you're wanting to see something different. You're not just like, I don't know. It just seems so bizarre to me to be like that. But to me, the whole point of watching a movie or reading a book is to see something that, you know, or read something that's different, that gives me, you know, I don't want to just see, you know, like a movie about a place that I live, like that. Oh, that's just like my hometown. That's boring. I live here. I don't want to see something, but I want to explore, you know, I want to, you know, if I can't travel physically, let me travel, you know, creatively.
That's why we've never made our Southern horror gothic epic.
Oh God, we should, though, because we would make it
fried justice.
Can we have Wings Hauser?
And Lance Henriksen and Brian Bosworth.
Oh my God, the Boz.
It's a Stone Cold reunion with Stone Cold.
Oh my, and we got to have William Forsythe too, because he's in Stone Cold.
That's true.
Oh my, I have to do a quick detour because you said Stone Cold. Yeah, my favorite line from that movie, that Henriksen, and I feel, because, you know, like he improv a lot of his lines in that, because him and both him and William Forsythe were like, the script is terrible, so we're just gonna fuck it and have fun with it. Because I'm sorry, Lance Henriksen is one of the greatest actors ever. I love him. And it's almost William Forsythe, for the record. Like, he's a really underrated actor. But there's a line that Henriksen says that says, "This is either going to be the biggest pork chop I ever eat. Pause, smile, or my bulldozer." What?
It's a cipher of a human being, Lance Henriksen. I had the joy and pleasure of speaking with him a long time ago, and he made his distaste of the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt puppet. He made his distaste of that puppet and puppetry in general known.
Holy shit.
It was really wild. It's like, I really don't like puppets. It's like, but I really love pottery. He's like, if I could just do my pottery all day. I was like, okay.
Oh my God. I love puppets, but Lance Henriksen hating puppets kind of delights my heart for some reason. It just makes me love him even more.
I'm with you.
Oh my God. What a man. What a mensch. Yes.
Right.
But okay. He would like this movie.
There's no puppets in this movie.
Exactly. There's a mask. I think he'd be okay with the mask, though.
A mask lit from below quite frequently.
Oh, that lighting. That's the other thing. The lighting in this movie. Like, that's...
Well, it's black and white. Like you said, they have to know how to light it correctly.
Exactly. I mean, I think this film's also proof, too, that you don't... Again, because Chris, it's so funny when you mentioned the low budget thing. I never even stopped to think about the budget with this film because I was just instantly enchanted and always have been with it. And I might as well like make it a drinking game. I think I've set a chance at like 8 episodes up, but
in the next episode of the Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about the 2014 film Enchanted.
Yeah.
That's just you laying the seed work for that.
Yes. But it is low budget. You're right. But I never think about it. But this is proof to, like, especially the aspiring filmmakers, you don't need a ton of money.
Right.
If you have a little bit of technical know-how and a vision and a love for like being able to present something in a different way, that money can't buy that. Money can't buy great storytelling either.
Right.
You know, because how many of us have seen films that were made with enough money to legit feed an entire country of starving people, and yet you're like, it's like a fart in the wind.
And yet Disney has stopped reporting on the weekend grosses of a movie that came out 2 weeks ago. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah. Disney stopped reporting on how much money, or stopped reporting how much money the Marvels was making because it has been a bomb, and it was probably like a $200 million movie. So.
It's
crazy. It's crazy.
There's nothing, especially a film should cost that much. A cure for cancer? Fine. Cure for AIDS? Absolutely. A movie should not cost $200 million.
With Brie Larson?
I like the cheese.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I could pick her out of a lineup. I'm not trying to hate.
She would tell you to pick her out of a lineup because she would start being mean to you.
Oh, well, fuck her.
She just has like a very like weird energy to her. I don't
even know this woman. I'm like, fuck her.
She has weird energy.
I'm just going to hang out over in the corner with Lance Henriksen and his pottery.
Right. And his like, hatred of puppetry.
I would I would pay him to hear him rant on hooks. I don't know. It would delight me.
And
I'm
that's
so
in the
jealous.
interview. That's in the interview. I mean, I
Chris.
left it in there because I was like, this is wild to me. So
Chris, you're magic. Holy shit.
I just listened to what he said and reacted. I was like, okay, sure. That was like, I'd only been podcasting for like a year, a moment. Like, and it was
baby.
Yeah. I think we had probably met by that point. I think maybe. Yeah, we'd probably met because you and I worked together like pretty early on in this journey into the mind that is podcasting.
Yes. Cue up the ethereal music.
Right. So Heather, anything else you want to talk about with Placer Sangriento?
I feel like we've covered. I mean, this film it's short, it's sweet, it's unforgettable, and I love it.
Free on YouTube.
And it's free on YouTube, which, I mean, I normally would try to steer people towards buying it, but to the best of my knowledge, is out of
secondhand, eBay and other places, which is not reliable. Free on YouTube is a better option.
Well, and especially because some of the sellers out there, like over, it's like, okay, some of this stuff was selling when Best Buy still was cool and we're going to buy movies, which was a long time ago at this point. There are copies. Like, people upcharge when they don't need to.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess final thoughts on the movie.
I think it's brilliant. If you love horror and you love mystery and you want to see something that is beautiful, chewy, but in a very unexpected way, it gives you a story and a visual presentation that's different. And you're especially because maybe you're jaded, maybe you're tired of a lot of stuff you've been seeing and you're bored. Watch this film, seek it out. It's a rewarding journey. And you know what? It's not, like Chris said, it's an hour and 18 minutes. So even if, it's not going to take up that much of your time, and like everything that I recommend, even if you don't like it, I don't think it'll bore you. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I think being bored was the last thing that I thought would be going on in this movie. I mean, it's all over the place in a good way in terms of like what it's doing. It's not your average whatever horror movie, noir movie. Again, like to call it one of those might be to do the movie itself a disservice, really, because it's so many weird things and it's kind of its own thing. And I kind of love things that are their own things because I am my own thing, as are you. So, and I think that we as people tend to gravitate towards things that we find to be like a weird little thing. And it is a weird little fun movie that, like, again, the mask is way creepier than it has any right to be. And the movie is way better shot than a movie that's just sitting out on YouTube from 1967 has any right. Yeah, this is a fun one. It's a good way to start the month. I think if you are not knowing what to expect from a month that Heather Drain is programming, this will give you a pretty good idea of what to expect. And so, yeah, on that note, we'll take a break and we'll play a preview and some ads for the next episode.
Just moments from San Francisco Bay's maximum security San Quentin, launching a massive manhunt towards the apprehension of escaped federal prisoners Odessa and Kyle James.
Convicted killers Kyle and Odessa James are out. Amongst the ring. Among us.
He's got that whole OJ thing going for him. Totally guilty. Totally cute. I like Kyle.
Jesus Christ.
Nope. Don't you know that I love you? And I got a freedom, baby. Don't you know that I always the truth?
America's favorite killers, Odessa and Kyle James, can be yours to bring home. You preventing me, Dad? This is for violating the mold. Blow Dad away with his removable head.
Nations raged, but thy wrath came. The time for the dead to be judged, for rewarding thy servants, prophets and saints, for destroying the destroyers of earth.
Damn, I feel. Is there
something you might like to share with this family? Like maybe of you helping Mr. James?
Like, did he or did he not, like, rip up my Adam West signature?
I'll see you in hell. Odessa Lee James.
Game boys, parents and accessories sold separate.
On the next episode of the Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about a film called Killers that I know nothing about, which I think is probably the right way to go into it. And it is not the movie from a couple years ago titled Killers, because I think there's another movie with like the same name, though.
There is. This is the 1996 Killers, directed by Mike Mendez. It was his first feature. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and we're going to be joined by Heather and Father Malone and Spencer Parsons, who have you ever podcasted with dear old Spencer?
Yes. Yeah, Spencer's great.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a film professor for those of you who do not know at Northwestern. So that's fun. It's going to be a good episode. We're going to be talking probably rather educational minded, probably, given it'll be a little highbrow, maybe a little bit more highbrow than normal. I don't know. Spencer brings a highbrow nature to things that only those who are in academia can.
We'll be wearing our ascot.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, if you're wearing your ascot, can I just be Scrappy Doo?
You're better than Scrappy Doo.
I love Scrappy Doo.
You're way better.
Let me at him.
You're
Okay, can I be Melvin Doo?
Is that a real character?
I don't know. There are plenty of Scooby Doo like family members.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, right. Sure. Why not?
You Mountain Dew.
I shall. You're welcome. I never told you I could do a Scooby Doo. I don't trot that one out often, but it's a good one.
That was so good. Oh my God.
So when you're not here, making me laugh and having a good time, where can people find all of the awesome things that you work?
Come over to my linktree.com/Mondo Heather. There you will find links to, say, my website, mondoheather.com, my Patreon, Mondo Heather, my Twitter, various articles, for podcasts. I am, of course, one of the Great Noise Junkies, which is on the Weirding Way Media. In fact, we just did an episode about our favorite spoken word albums. And little spoiler on that, it's not what you think. Check it out. It is Deep Cut Bonanza. Also, speaking of music, by the time this goes live over on Mondo Heather, you will see an article I have written about a great EP, but that's called Casa Luna by the band La Cia. It's very dark, melancholy, very layered, actually not unlike Feast of Flesh. So check all that out. Linktree.com/Mondo Heather.
And as for me, you can find me over at weirdingwaymedia.com, where everything that I work on is found. I don't work on everything, but everything I work on can be found there. I don't want to take credit for everything because there is not enough time in the day to be complicit in all of those actions. So somebody else must be making those podcasts. But the ones that I'm on are varied in what they're talking about. This, Scary Stories We Tell, Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller, Columbo, all at Bollywood Cinema Club, which Heather joins me on frequently. So that's where you can find me. As for this show, Kulturecast.com, Patreon.com/Kulturecast, 10, 20, and 50. And if you get in at the $10 level right now, starting next year, you'll be able to hear me and Mike White and Richard Haddam talk all about James Bond, more than you would ever want to hear three people talk about James Bond, in our follow-up series to Rankin' on Bass, aptly titled Rankin' on Bond, a title so obvious I didn't think of it until we were recording the fucking intro. So that's where you can go to find the things that I work on. And Heather, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to every episode this month.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure.
And as always, we'll catch you on the next episode.